Hey guys, so today I'm going to tell you and talk to you about a single arm band fly, how it's different, in some cases more effective than doing just a regular standing cable crossover or cable fly. So today we're going to talk about single arm band fly, why you want to do it, why you use the bands, technique behind it, how it's different, how you should try and use it and incorporate it into a workout program. First things first, why am I using the bands? Okay, bands allow for speed. I can move this band as fast as I want, as fast as I actually can with control. Can't do that with cable. Slack happens, why? Gravity, simple as that. The other thing about it is when I use the bands, the resistance from the bands becomes harder and heavier the further that I stretch it. So when a muscle and I am stretched here, I'm at my weakest point. But as this muscle, as my pec is contracting, now it progressively gets stronger, okay? So the weight ratio increases, calling on more muscle fibers in the pecs, which recruits more muscle fibers. And because I'm doing it with speed, here, I'm recruiting fast twitch muscle fibers plus the linear variable resistance, which means the weight increases, calling on more muscle fibers. That's the reason why I'm using the band. So on the Jim Marley page, I see a lot of you guys, and you have to understand position of the resistance versus position of where you're pressing or pulling matters. A lot of people will just take the bands and will do things like this to where they'll do flies like this, okay? Or they'll do presses like this or under here to where the point of contact is in the center of their body, okay? That's not how you're really gonna target the pecs. That's the reason why with the bands, as my good buddy Luke Thompson reminded me, what we have to do is we have to make sure that the point of resistance is outside of the shoulders, the shoulder girdle, okay? You don't want the point of resistance when you're actually doing a chest movement because the way the chest really contracts is this way. If you notice, it comes from out here to the center of my body. If I have a resistance behind me, that resistance is gonna cross my shoulders and not put an adequate load onto the pecs. At that point, the resistance is gone. So what you have to do is make sure when you're doing a single arm fly or even flies with both arms, this resistance is outside. The position of my body is here. This is where my pecs are going to come together in front of me here. But the resistance is outside of my shoulder, right? It's over here. What I don't want to do is do this. If I do this to where the resistance is now, my shoulder is past this point here, and I do flies, watch what happens. This comes by, hits my arm here, and now the resistance and the load is no longer applied directly to the pecs. My arm is essentially holding this. You want distance between your arm and this line of pull. That is going to force the load onto, remember the pecs are pulling, they're contracting your arm here. You don't want to mess up the load here. You want that constant tension applied. So even if you're doing something to where you have both hands when you're doing flies this way with both arms, that load is in the center of my body. So as I come forward here, the bands wrap around my torso, they wrap around my arms, taking the load off of the point of contraction. You don't want to do that, okay? The other thing when you do this movement, and the reason why I like the single arm, number one, because there's not too many points that you can actually attach two bands unless you're standing in a power rack to where now the load is outside the shoulders, which yes, you could do both if I had another band here. But single arm I like better because what happens is if you guys remember my videos that I did talking about the flies in general, the position of the arm, position your arm almost here to where your elbow is up, then just pivot your wrist. What that's gonna do is that go ahead, that rotates the humerus down, and you can feel the pecs automatically engaging once you do this. Keep that position, rotate the arm. Now as you come here, the elbow, if your elbow's out here, that lengthens the pec. So if you're doing flies like this, you're not getting a full contraction out of the pecs. My elbow from here, once I rotate down, just look what happens in my pec. You can see right here. See right here? My elbow's out here. Rotate down. Look at that. It comes in. There's more of a contraction that happens just by rotating the humerus. So what you want to do is, as you're doing this movement, keep that elbow to where the bicep is facing forward. Rotate the wrist. As you come over here, now the other thing is, because I have more range of motion to where my hands don't hit like in a regular fly, if I were doing a regular fly here, bilaterally with the cables, my elbows or my hands hit in front unless I'm crossing it. Okay, and I really don't like to do the crossing motion. It's just not my thing. So what you can do is do a unilateral movement to where now you're getting more of a range of motion across, all the way across your body to where that pec is getting a full contraction. By doing it with the bands, because the weight's getting heavier, by doing it with the bands, because you can do it fast, it's a great movement to do on top of the already existing regular cable crossover or cable flies, guys. Give it a try. Trust me, you start utilizing the bands in your training, you're gonna find things that you never thought were possible that can actually happen in the gym, and the way your body responds is gonna be a lot different than the way it's been responding if you've used free weight only. If you guys have any questions about this exercise or anything else, please ask me on the Workout Trainer Facebook page. Ask me here, wherever this video is posted, or if you want a workout program, make sure that you are on workouttrainer.com watching this video. A workout program utilizing one of these movements will be listed below. Until next time, guys, it's Mike McElwain coming to you from the gym in Westlake, California. Take care.